Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another Axel 72 video, and in today's video I'm going to be giving my prediction for the Elif Nur Turhan versus Taylah Gentzen fight. And so if you are new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do indeed like the video, and feel free to join the Patreon as well. There's not long left that you can use code Axel72 to get 75% off your first month with the Patreon, and you can request any kind of combat sporting related content. There will be a video separate with the main event on this card that has been released early due to the Patreon, somebody requesting it. So that's the reason why I've come here to do this video separately. And again, if you want to use the Patreon for other things, you can use it for betting tips or to just have general conversation with people in the community. And also, if you're getting your New Year's resolutions going at the moment and you want to be feeling good whilst doing so, head over to grindactivekinetics.com and use code AXEL10. You'll get 10% off any order. And again, I appreciate the support with all of them, and the links for them will be in the description. Let's get straight into this one though. And I mean, this is being filmed before the Ring Magazine Awards, which I believe are on the 30th, so the day before the actual main fight. This fight is happening, but I feel like Turhan has to be winning the best female fighter of the year after 3 brutal KO wins and one against a two-time Olympian medalist to win a world title. She really has the potential to be a star, and she really is, gaining that kind of big fan base. And I believe Turkey is behind her, and I think she's got that fan base there behind her now. Obviously, she's not main eventing here, but I think she could definitely get, soon a big fight in Turkey going and a big homecoming. At least, I would like to see it at some point if none of the other champions are willing to face her, because it does look like that might be the case because of just how dangerous and how risky she is. The way that she dismantled Ferreira last time out was insane. I mean, Ferreira was on such a good run, and like I say, has been able to dominate in the Olympics, and then coming into the pros, she managed to pick up a world title with ease and then defend it on multiple occasions. And she seemed so dominant as a champion, and then Turhan was just able to brutally knock her down and then knock her out in what was very impressive and shocking fashion. And I mean, she has kind of come out of nowhere to her hand. She got a shot on the undercard of the first Donovan Crocker fight, and she stopped Shauna Browne, who was undefeated at the time, via TKO in round 1. And I think Shauna Browne was a Matchroom fighter at that point, and I guess kind of just after that fight, Matchroom just decided to sign her. I mean, there wasn't kind of any big, poster or anything to say, Matchroom have now signed Elif Turhan, but just out of nowhere, I'm pretty sure they did. I mean, they don't have a tremendous amount of female fighters on their roster anymore, but Elif Turhan is arguably the best out of a lot of female fighters at the moment to really go out there and to be able to go out there and get the stoppages and just be very entertaining. And I think, I mean, for the casual fans of boxing, I think she is perfect to get the casuals into women's boxing, as she is just pure entertainment. I mean, when I watched her fight Ferreira, you're there just captivated. You're there, on the edge of your seat going, wow, this is a big shot. Wow, this is, when's it going to happen? Is she going to get knocked out? Is she not going to get knocked out? And it's just exciting. And I feel like we haven't really experienced that too much with female fighters, especially recently. So again, other than the back and forth in which we've had with Taylor Serrano and, fighters like that, other than that, we've been kind of really lacking some real action and entertainment, and especially knockouts in the female kind of scene. So I think, what Turhan's been able to do has been excellent, and like I say, just been able to create a lot of entertainment. And I'm sure, that's why Matchroom have been very quick to sign her, because even if she loses, with that power, she's in every single fight. No matter what, she's gonna have a puncher's chance, and a good puncher's chance in every single fight, because she can flip momentum and she can flip fights just so easily with her power. Gentzen as an opponent is interesting. I mean, I feel like the other champions in the division are going to try and go towards other fights instead of fighting Turhan. Like I say, she's just, in my opinion, even as a champion, a very risky fight for anybody. And I mean, Gentzen has had a loss to Shauna Browne, who of course Turhan knocked out in round 1, and she lost to her via what was a close split decision, but she did also get dropped by Browne, and just before, Turhan went out there and KO'd Browne. And I mean, she's been able to get a couple of wins since then against lower level opposition, but I don't think she's fought outside of Australia, and she's been able to make her resume look good, but of course the actual level of opposition isn't really the best, and I'm not sure if she's ready to face somebody like Turhan, who I believe is very unique and just very tough and difficult to train for. I mean, like I say, because she is just such a big puncher and just such a threat all the time, I think it's just incredibly difficult to be able to find, good sparring to be able to match the kind of output and the tempo and the power in which Turhan has. And like I mentioned, the fact that Gentzen was able to get dropped by Browne, I don't think it was, a tremendously bad knockdown or anything like that, but, nonetheless, she got dropped by her, and then, of course, went on to lose. And if you get dropped by Browne, then you're gonna most likely get hurt at some point by Turhan, and I think, that's just destined. But I am interested to see, with this tempo and with this, outputs and with this power, what she's like going to the decision. I mean, she has been to the decision, and she has gone the full 10 round distance, I believe, once or twice before. But, it's been a while, and I think the more hype and the more, fans are expecting of the knockout, she's definitely starting to search for it, and it's obvious. And obviously, it's working out for her at the moment, but maybe she might be a little bit uncomfortable if it goes into the later rounds, if she is just continually searching for the knockout. But of course, we'll have to wait and see. To speak about both fighters individually though, Turhan as a fighter, I mean, every punch in which she throws, she's putting everything into. She's definitely not hesitant at all. She carries very good one punch kind of knockdown, knockout type of power, which again is something which is very rare to talk about in the female, women's boxing game. She steps into her punches very well and does carry, well from, stepping into her punches. She takes up a lot of space when she's throwing and kind of really forces you back from the controlling of the space in which she's able to use with quite long limbs when she throws. I mean, she doesn't look like a tremendously kind of strong, powerful fighter in the way of, her build and her arms and everything like that. But like I said, just she's able to use her rangy arms and just really maximize power by turning into them and, just committing tremendously to her punches. She is willing to move back if necessary, and, she can throw whilst going backwards as well. She can easily, like I mentioned, flip momentum whenever she wants. Her accuracy with her overhand is actually pretty good. I mean, her accuracy in the way of throwing other shots can sometimes be off, but typically, her accuracy with her overhands is pretty good. Even though they are thrown from very wide and they can be quite predictable, they're not completely reckless, and they do have a somewhat good level of accuracy. At least, the first couple that land. Maybe when she gets a little bit excited and tries to go for the big knockout, then it might become a little bit off. She's hard to slow down when she has you hurt, and I mean, I definitely feel like she's very aggressive as well. Negatives about her, she, like I mentioned, throws from very wide. She's not really got much in the way of a setup. I mean, she's not really using a jab. She's not really trying to, get her footwork in the right position. She's just, like I say, trying to time on a big shot or just winging out big shots if she can. Her hands are pretty much always low, and she typically is throwing from quite a low position, which of course leaves her head vulnerable. And she's predictable in shot selection. Like I say, she doesn't really throw a tremendous amount of varied punches, so again, she can be very predictable. She doesn't use a jab much. She doesn't have good reactions, in my opinion, and she's not got very fast footwork, so setting up her shots can be an issue against good movers. I think that's what took a little bit of time against Ferreira, but like I say, still for the most part she was able to land big pretty much as soon as she threw. But again, if somebody can take that shot and can deal, and can reset with good footwork and good movement, she might be in a little bit of trouble herself. She squares up very wide when she is throwing, and she can definitely rush the stoppage. Again, when she was facing Ferreira, it was very obvious that she was just trying to put everything into rushing the stoppage when she had Ferreira hurt. I mean, by that point, of course, Ferreira was very hurt, but I just feel like if Ferreira was a little bit less hurt, or if Ferreira was, like I said, just with it in general a bit more at that point, she would have been able to catch her and just quite as easily drop her, just because of just the bad balanced position in which Turhan does leave herself in. And she definitely does headhunt as well. I think it would be nice to see if she ripped to the body and then, like I say, switched it back up to the head a little bit more. Gentzen, as a fighter, she uses all right head movement. She's got decent movement, but for the most part she is typically, a come forwards type fighter. She sets a high tempo early and manages to keep it as well, which is again another reason why I feel like if it goes into the later rounds it could be an entertaining and interesting fight. But I mean, again, she's probably going to want to trade and probably going to trade with Turhan, which again will make it interesting. She can work on the front or the back foot. I think she'll probably be more willing to go in the back foot than that of Turhan. She walks you onto straight shots, which again I think could definitely work and could definitely land on Turhan. She doesn't ever look afraid to commit to her shots, and I think she has got heart as well, even though she has been dropped. I don't know how good her chin is, but I think she has got heart, and of course that's going to be tested when she measures her straight shots and then comes in with a hook. There's a good technique there, and the way that she does throw her hooks are actually a lot nicer and a lot cleaner than that of Turhan, and I believe she can be physical as well, and she can deal with that physicality, especially if it comes on late as well. And to be fair, she might actually be able to land a bit cleaner and a bit better straight in the pocket, because of course, with the long limbs of Turhan, and with the fact that she doesn't really bend her elbows too much when she's just throwing Turhan, Gentzen will be able to exploit that if she can get in close, because most of what Gentzen throws, she doesn't extend her punches that well, so it's mainly hooks. And like I say, even her jab and her other straight that she follows up with, they're kind of like straight shots, but they're coming from a bent elbow position, which again can land well, but also can look a bit messy as well. But it means that she's going to want to fight in close Gentzen, which might frustrate Turhan if she can't get her accuracy and her timing down. Gentzen can get drawn into trading, and that will definitely be interesting. She does smother her work whenever she does come in, which is again a bit of a problem, because I think she does do her best work in close, but she does smother her work quite a lot in close. She doesn't often fully extend the punches, like I mentioned, which would be nicer for a bit of a setup. She's not got the best of timing. She will invite pressure, I believe, and allow, like I mentioned, her hand to be on the front foot. She doesn't do much more than straight kind of 1-2, which aren't extended. Again, there's times in which she mixes in the hooks, but she's not doing it enough. Like I mentioned, I would much prefer to see her mixing the hooks more often, but typically she's going with that straight 1-2 with the non-extended punches, which again do come with a little bit of power and a little bit of intent, but they aren't particularly damaging, because then she just smothers herself afterwards. She has been dropped, like I say, and she has, like I say, all right movement, and it is, in my opinion, just all right, because she does forget in the later round the movement a bit. Who do I think is going to win this fight? I think that Elif Nur Turhan is going to win via a TKO in round 4. I think she's going to be able to hurt and drop Gentzen early. I think it's going to be another bit of a war. I think Gentzen's going to try and hold on and cling on for life, but I think Turhan's going to be able to shake Gentzen off. Gentzen's going to go onto the back foot and then just wilt away on the ropes and allow Turhan to just overwhelm her with her, crazy kind of pressure, aggressive pressure in which she puts on. And then, like I say, get a big, relatively early stoppage, which again will be another statement performance and another reason to get behind supporting her, and to again gain a more of a fan base for her. She is most likely going to be the most excited women's fighter in which you may ever have seen, or at least have seen in a while. And again, while she is on this great run, you should be following her, because I think, like I say, it's where the entertainment is at. And then who she could go on to fight next. I mean, like I mentioned, the champions, they might go and all do their own thing. I mean, the champions are all with MVP, which again makes it easy to make the other matchups, but it does leave out Turhan a bit. So again, I'm not too sure what's going to happen. Pamela Sawa is the top ranked contender with the IBF, so it most likely will be Sawa who fights next against Turhan. But I mean, if not, it is really difficult to match her. I mean, there's not a tremendous amount of contenders that really make sense for Turhan to face. I mean, otherwise, a Terry Harper fight, maybe. I mean, if Caroline Dubois goes and faces possibly Alicia Baumgartner, then that leaves like a Terry Harper and a Stephanie Han. They could fight each other, and that probably would be easier to be made. But if they're wanting to test against Turhan, then, why not? I mean, Turhan against Harper would be a risky fight, because, of course, Harper got stopped against Sandy Ryan, and, Turhan's going to be a similar kind of power puncher, so I don't know how Harper will be able to deal with it. But I mean, Stephanie Han might be up for it. She might be up for the test. I mean, she faced Holly Holm. I think that's a bit of a good test, so I don't mind seeing that. But at some point this year, I would like to see a unification for Turhan. I just don't know if it'll be next. There might be another fight in between. Like I say, probably a Pamela Sawa fight in between. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like the video if you did, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.